Hi, welcome back to Florida Man Review. I am your fellow Florida man. I am a Florida man, born and raised in Florida, and I've always lived here. I feel like the world gets a tiny taste of how cooked this place is, but I am every month to tell you about the insane things that happen here that you would probably never hear about, ever. And we're also still in my garage. And I just put on random clothes that I found on the ground. I found this, look how big these overalls are, huh? Look at that. That's crazy. Can you believe that these used to be mine, huh? What a journey. What a journey. June 1st brings us to Waffle House, and I'm surprised because I feel like Waffle House should have been featured a long time ago in this series. If you're not from the US or you're not familiar with what Waffle House is, it's kind of like the wilderness in RuneScape. It's like a PvP zone where you can go to get the cheapest, most delicious hash browns and to witness a murder every night. June 1st, we have this video on Twitter, which is amazing. First thing in the morning, 4 a.m., giant Waffle House brawl, okay? I mean, like, fucking plates are being thrown, people are being thrown. I love Waffle House. If you look up, like, Waffle House brawls or anything, you would be blown away by the amount of fights that have broken out at Waffle House. Not between people, but just, it's always home team, which is the Waffle House employees, versus 4 a.m. crackheads and truckers who have at least murdered 1 to 2 people in their lifetime. But it was in the 80s and they got away with it. The place is an active war zone, and I really do think that all Waffle House workers deserve Purple Hearts or some sort of government recognition for the service that they provided. Ooh, why am I drinking wine? It's 104 degrees outside. I'm drinking wine out of a Goodwill mug in my 104-degree garage, wearing size 10XL overalls. Meanwhile, in beautiful St. Pete, Ryan Howard was doing some tagging along like a sound barrier on the highway. The police were called, they showed up and they're like, hey Ryan, hey buddy, they didn't know his name, hey Buster, that's illegal. What's your name? Give us your details. No response, gave the police that Ryan Howard stare. The police asked again, and this time Ryan responded with, my name is Mr. Monopoly, my birthday is 4/20/69. Jail. And I almost forgot, on June 1st, around the same time as the Waffle House PvP incident, Christy Lee Turman was going to steal a car from a dealership parking lot. Wanting to do things right, Christy called the police and reported herself, saying, hey, I'm stealing a car, but I'm doing, you know, I'm reporting it to you because it's the right thing to do, but I'm stealing a car. Here's the call. We have the call.
It's okay, I don't care. I don't care, just send a unit. I'm at the Cadillac dealership right now. I need the keys to this car. It goes to somebody named with the last name, and I can't find the keys. I need some assistance.
What is your location right now, ma'am?
I'm at the Cadillac dealership on Brantley and 41. Send as many units as you want. Make sure they bring the cameras and everything.
What's going on
This is
there?
awesome. Oh, you know, it's my birthday, and I didn't know it. I didn't know I was really related to Princess, or what's that lady's name? Queen Elizabeth. I'm really related to Queen Elizabeth, and I'll tell you all how I put it together.
Turman was only charged with trespassing. This was a innocent, harmless meth mistake, okay? I don't think she deserved nor needed to be charged with anything too severe. I'm glad that she just got trespassing. But her reasoning for needing to steal this fucking car it's so good. It's amazing. She told the responding officer that she was simply training for, and I shit you not, Call of Duty Black Ops. She was training for Call of Duty Black Ops. Meth is so silly. I keep pulling my overalls out. I don't want my titties falling out, all right? June 2nd, Callahan, Florida. Ben Jadu was dropping off his 5-year-old daughter in one of those custody swap things. You know, I pray to God that I never end up in a situation like that. It's so bizarre when they have to do like the supervised custody swaps like they're in a movie. Meet in a public place. There has to be a witness. It's so weird. The mother was legally required to have supervision when she picked up the 5-year-old girl. I'm dripping with sweat. That's fine, okay? She calls Grandpa. Grandpa will be here to supervise. But nobody was ready for what Grandpa did. This is how it went, okay? Grandpa shows up. The mom's father. The first thing he does is rush the father's car, Ben. He rushes his car, attacks him. Grandpa's feral, okay? Grandpa's rabies. Ben gets out and goes to walk away. Guess what? Grandpa's hot on his fucking case. He grabs him. What the fuck is going on? And then Grandpa bites his ear off. He bites his ear off. Why? What makes people in Florida have to eat each other every month? June 3rd, the mission is a go. The objective? The Martin County Jail lobby. That's the target. Joseph Leedy, 40 years old, drives his fucking Camry straight through the front door of the jail. He's in. Exiting the car, butt fucking naked, Leedy reaches into his school backpack and he pulls out 2 rubber snakes, throws them in the lobby. The distraction. Next is phase 3. Leedy throws a handful of cell phones at the rubber snakes. Good. They won't even know what hit them. Phase 4. Leedy pours motor oil all over his car and threatens to light himself on fire. The police basically just said, okay, retard, and gave him a small treat in the form of a taser. Leedy's facing a lot of charges, and I have no clue what the point of any of this was at all. June 4th takes us to Seminole County, where they have started adding these license plate readers everywhere, okay? And the purpose of them, it makes sense. So, like, for instance, let's say the grandpa who bit the guy's ear off. Let's say he sped away. These license plate readers log all of the cars that drive past them. So if you have his license plate, then you can see exactly where he's been, what roads, at what time, you know, where that vehicle's been. I think it's an overall good thing. They're not even cameras. They are literally just license plate readers. Pretty nifty, pretty handy. I could see how that could help like local law enforcement a lot with solving crimes. 35-year-old Eric Fiedler fucking hates him though. He hates him so much. He hates license plate readers more than anything. The dude is going to prison because he went around when they started adding these and he would just pull over his car and dismantle them and destroy them. He destroyed 22 license plate readers. That's insane. The dude just hates license plate readers. June 5th! Boca Raton, Florida. A real-life actual Dinkleberg moment happened, which is pretty cool. I'm not kidding. Like an actual Dinkleberg. When a woman was watering the hedges along her fence with her hose, accidentally oversprayed over the fence onto the poor, probably billionaire sitting in their lawn because it's Boca Raton. This sparked a big argument, okay? Eventually leading to her getting sprayed with the hose again out of pure anger. She sprayed her with the hose. And what was Florida woman's first reaction when being disrespected for the second time that day with the hose? Literally Boogie 2998 whatever style pulled out a fucking gun and shot it into the ground as warning shots. Boogie style. I don't think any Floridian has a properly functioning frontal cortex, and I'm included. June 6th, a Florida man found out what happens when you cough and sneeze at the same time. Spoiler alert though, you explode. He was at the dinner table after getting abdominal surgery and he coughed and sneezed at the same time and his fucking colon shot out of him. This is an actual illustration of what it looked like because it was lodged in the medical journal because there's very few cases of this ever happening. At first he didn't know what was happening apparently, but he felt like a warm, wet sensation under his shirt and it was because all of his stuff fell out. All of his things and stuff fell out of him. Fair enough, by the way. Paramedics, I didn't really know what to do because it's pretty rare for somebody to be eviscerated. And yes, this dude was literally like by definition eviscerated by coughing and sneezing. Like he was fine because the wounds had been medically made, but all of his stuff was out. He wasn't dying, he was dead. His stuff just fell out. It's not that big of a deal, guys. My stuff just fell out. I've fallen some of my stuff, you know? It's calmed down. So they pretty much just put a wet towel over his stuff, put him in the back of the ambulance and took him to the hospital, probably handed him a delicious Diet Dr. Pepper. I don't know if they actually did that. I can't confirm if they did that, but they did put his stuff back and he's completely fine. No injury other than his stuff falling out. So if you're ever in the position where one of your friends, their stuff falls out, apparently the proper thing to do is intestines and colons and your stuff has to be kept, like number one, it needs to be kept wet. So you need to put like a wet towel over it. So if you're hanging out with one of your homies and he sneezes and coughs, and all of his stuff falls out, put him in your car, but don't forget the wet towel on his stuff. June 7th. John Alexander Rodriguez Cardenas in Indian River County. An absolute horror movie shit. He strapped the lady to a chair and tried to light her on fire like 6 times in some trap house. She survived, but he is getting attempted murder charges. And like, what were people doing in the trap house? Where they're just like, I don't know, he's tying someone up to a chair and like trying to light him on fire, and they're just like smoking a blunt. I'm like, whoa, hey, whoa. Like, what were they doing? Deputies say there was definitely drugs involved. Obviously. June 8th, a grown man is facing over 20 counts of larceny after repeatedly entering a Target, and he would scan like a booster pack of Pokemon cards, but then put in like a full thing. Like one of the big sets where you get a bunch of booster packs and maybe like a starter deck, all right? He kept scanning $5 item and putting in a $50 Pokemon bag, which I'm sure at least 1/4 of my audience has done at some point. Richard Rupert. This is his face, and he is truly a menace to society. Meanwhile, Dallas Britt was executing and planning a dubious meat heist at Publix. Here's the plan. Fill a shopping cart with meat. Price per volume, it's the best bang for your buck for your allotted shopping cart. Phase 2, report a bomb threat to the Publix that you're shopping at. Call the police and say, hey, the garbage can in the men's bathroom is making a ticking noise. Kind of weird, isn't it? I think it's about to blow. Phase 3, okay? While the deputies are there and they're distracting the employees, walk straight out of the store with your full shopping cart of meat, and that's the heist. None of this worked. None of this worked. Like, at all. The guy went to walk out of the store with a shopping cart full of unbagged meat, and the police instantly looked at him and were like, where's your receipt? None of this shit's bagged. You're obviously stealing it. He panicked and was like, oh, I'm just getting my wallet from my car, and walked out with the meat. He bolted. The police let him go because they're like, okay, we'll deal with that later. We have a bomb threat, which is more important than a shopping cart full of ill-gotten animal flesh. They let him go because the trash can was ticking. But the way that they discovered that the bomb threat was real was actually crazy, and I didn't know that they do it like this, but they set up a traffic stop there pretty much right away, and their strategy was obviously all the cars are in a line. They'd get the person, hey, roll down your window, and then they would call back the number that made the bomb threat. And if the phone rang inside the car that they stopped, then you made the bomb threat. That's genius. That is fucking genius. Eventually, they did pull over Dallas. Officer pulled out his phone, and Dallas's phone rang. So, womp womp, no meat for you, stinky meat bandit. June 9th. A very big day for Florida. 74-year-old Rolf Braun was walking around a Lady Lake neighborhood with his little fella out, and his balls, and his cock, and presumably his ass as well. When the police showed up and they were like, Grandpa, please put your meat away. His actual response was, well, there's nude beaches in Florida. This isn't a beach, it's a bathtub.
I see you don't have a lifeguard here at your beach.
I'm not at the beach, this is a bathtub.
And when the police like actually went to where he lived and was like, hey buddy, we need to talk to you. Oh yeah, he had his balls in his cock. He was wearing a shirt. He was wearing a shirt, his pants, and he had his balls in his cock coming out of the neck hole of the shirt that he was wearing his pants. It's fucking legendary. My camera overheated because it's hot. Patricia Schutz was also arrested the same day for stealing frozen shrimp from Walmart. I lied about June 9th being a big day. A guy just had his little fella out, and a lady stole frozen shrimp. Was not a big day. June 11th, though, was a fucking awful day. Daytona, Florida, Michael Zellers, the true face of evil. He is facing tons of charges. Felony animal cruelty, obstructing an officer without violence, indecent exposure, possession of a controlled substance without prescription, disorderly conduct, and violation of probation. What did Michael do, you may ask? He got naked and tried to light a dog on fire in a hotel parking lot. The dog's okay. The dog's fine. Okay, listen, shut up. I love Florida. I love it, but I wonder if any shit like this happens on a daily basis anywhere else. You know, if it's just here. This is like the only place where shit like this is constantly happening. Michael Zellers, look, you can pull your cock and balls and ass through the hole of a t-shirt and be naked. You can bite people's ears off every day, but this is beyond not cool. Fucking awful. June 13th, Patricia Whitehead In a professional roommate move, she shot her roommate for being messy, allegedly. She shot him fucking dead for being messy, for leaving messes all over the place. She shot and killed him. Patricia Whitehead is a professional upstairs neighbor. Yeah, she allegedly shot and killed somebody for like being a slob. June 14th in Lakeland, Florida, Chastity Gardner is working at a McDonald's when a customer comes back through the drive-thru. You know, sometimes your order's wrong. You always gotta check your McDonald's bag before you leave the parking lot. They come back through and they're like, hey, I'm missing items, okay? You f***ed it up. This escalated into a huge argument. The customers then opened the drive-thru window and fucking threw a drink. They threw a drink at her face.
My chicken? Yeah, all right.
There's only one thing to do if something like this happens. Chastity pulls out her handgun that she obviously had because, yep. Why the f you need to carry a handgun at McDonald's, bro? I do not know. Like, even if the McDonald's is in a bad area, like, I really don't get it. At a McDonald's? Before No Square, I edited videos, but I used to deliver pizza. I delivered pizza for a while. When you're delivering pizza, you're not allowed to carry a weapon because it's a liability to the company, I guess. You are not allowed to carry a weapon, but carrying one for that, I get. You were pulling up completely alone to people's cribs, sometimes in the hood, sometimes in the middle of fucking nowhere, and you're always in a private property. You don't have the safety net of like being in public. Ronald McDonald's strongest soldier did not have it just for fashion though. She ran out the front door and as they drove away, fired shots off at their fucking car. A few rounds even made contact. Chastity was booked into the Polk County Jail and is being charged with assault with a deadly weapon. I feel like people don't understand escalation at all. It's like someone throws a drink in your face. The next step up from that isn't shooting them. I get you're mad, but it's not shooting them. Am I crazy for saying that? It's throwing hands, maybe. But like, it's not, you're not pulling the gun out after someone throws a fucking Sprite, a Diet Sprite at your face. Grow up! Like, if somebody like fucks your dog, someone comes in that they fuck your dog, then yeah, maybe the next step is to start blasting. But they throw a Diet Sprite at your face? Stupid. June 15th, the police were after Joshua Garrett after he had violated his probation, and their first stop was his place of work. Now, they went into there and reviewed the security footage, which showed Joshua entering the establishment, but not leaving the establishment. Spooky stuff. They searched everywhere, but no signs of Joshua. There's only one place that they hadn't searched. Inside the fucking ceiling, okay? But like, where do you start? You're in an entire, like, imagine being in a Walmart and someone's in the ceiling. Where the f do you start? I kid you not. His phone just started ringing, all right? His phone started ringing. A cell phone started ringing from inside the walls. If this happened to me in my fucking house, a cell phone started ringing inside the walls. Pull out a still beating heart. I want it to happen. They simply followed the cell phone ringing inside the ceiling and they fucking caught him. The sheriff says Garrett was booked into Polk County Jail on his warrant and additionally charged with resisting arrest and criminal mischief for causing about $1,000 worth of damage to his employer's ceiling. Indubitably. June 17th. This dude, Jeffrey Duffy, 39. Well, okay, he was arrested multiple times within a small period, like tons of fucking times. Here's all of his mugshots. From stealing from multiple laundromats. The dude just, he could not help himself. The alluring feeling, temptation that people feel to rob places that have a net profit of $100 a day. If you're gonna rob somewhere, rob like somewhere that makes money. That deals with big money, big cheese money, big rat money. You're gonna rob the place that only functions off of fucking quarters? Like, what are you doing? June 18th takes us to Pinellas County where Richard Cantwell is being arrested for being the world's biggest fucking hater. Like, this dude is addicted to fucking hating. This story is insane. Nobody is a bigger hater than Richard Cantwell. In one text message, Cantwell made death threats to a person identified as a fake reverend. I'm gonna read them for you. Being the Antichrist piece of shit that you are, we're going to kill you. Torture first, then death. The text from Cantwell reads, the victim instantly installed $4,500 worth of surveillance cameras due to his genuine fear of Cantwell, according to court records, because his hating was just, he was hating so much. This is bad. Don't be like Cantwell, but this one is so funny to me. A private message sent by Cantwell through Instagram to another person reads, cannot wait to shoot your ghetto ass in the street, followed by a racial slur. In September 2019, he wrote to one victim, God bless the great President Trump and his family. you and yours. Hire extra security, you're gonna need it. It's just... I forgot to take the Goodwill sticker off this guy. This is what makes this story so funny though, okay? The FBI visited him in person before his arrest, which I'm sure you can imagine being vitriolic online and being a hateful, shitty person. The FBI actually showing up would be fucking insane. I feel like your mind would be blown. They said, bro, stop, please. Stop hating. You're hating too hard. You read too loud, your bitch too bad. They're gonna kill you. Dr. Cantwell, we aren't even arresting you. Just fucking stop. They didn't arrest him. They just begged him, please, stop hating online. I just got chills. This is an epic tale. Despite the FBI's very gratuitous warnings, Cantwell spent the next 10 months sending threats to over 40 victims via social media and email. Chills. Chills! In February, Cantwell threatened a politician who wasn't named in court records via like Facebook messages according to the FBI investigation on him. Cantwell also boasted online about his weapons collection, messages indicating he had a large collection that he would never surrender. Never surrender, brother. People are like, I'm not giving up my guns. And people are like, that. I'm people. Investigators did say, though, he sought to buy fully automatic and highly illegal firearms from a Facebook user. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but there's like these memes about like, you'll see like an ad on like Instagram or Twitter and it'll be like, Glock switches, fully automatic, DM me. And people are like, okay, Fed. I feel like Cantwell actually fell for it. Like, you know, he was like, a Glock switch? For little old me? On Facebook, he allegedly also wrote about enjoying the violence that he experienced in the military, and he loved creating widows and orphans. This dude's fucking insane. This guy is a living, breathing animal. First of all, that's kind of cringe. I love the violence. I miss the rage. Like, it's really cringe. It's incredibly cringe. I feel like you got so lucky for the FBI to literally visit you and be like, hey man, stop. We're not arresting you, just please stop threatening to kill people online. It's that simple. Stop hating Dr. Cantwell. Your bitch too bad, your weed too loud. Your money too long. They're gonna kill you. Needless to say, Dr. Cantwell is being held without bond, and I wanna read you his care philosophy from his actual medical website. Patients expect to be treated with kindness, compassion, and personalized care. And that's what you can expect each time you visit our office. This guy's fucking insane. June 21st, a vandal has spray painted Elon on 34 Cybertrucks in Fort Lauderdale. It's kind of epic as well. I think it's cool. Not really, because crime is illegal and it's against the law. It's against the law to do crime. And what is also illegal is murder. Christian Freeborn faces charges of second-degree murder, which is illegal. Christian Freeborn committed illegal murder. Christian was piloting a U-Haul when he accidentally crashed it into his neighbor's balcony. The neighbor got pissed, understandably. Your neighbor just drove straight into your fucking house, and he demanded that he pays for the repairs. And where's my fucking bag at, bro? You just hit my crib. It sadly escalated into full-on angry man screaming. It probably sounded like 2 diesel trucks trying to reach up to speed entering the highway, and Christian had told Herbert Harris that he was armed. All right, Christian's the U-Haul driver. He looked at the guy's house that he just hit and said, hey buddy, I'm armed, by the way. I have a gun, by the way. And he told him, you need to go back inside. He told him you need to go back inside. Dude, you just hit his house. You just hit his fucking house. And you're saying, hey buddy, calm down. I have a gun. Harris, the homeowner, allegedly responded with make me while motioning towards Christian. Christian, the U-Haul driver, just shot him dead. Yeah, he shot him dead. He's claiming self-defense here, but like, what? All right, man, listen. I understand claiming self-defense when the perpetrator is brandishing a firearm. There's an imminent possible threat to your life, but an unarmed dude whose house you just hit moving towards you, it's this escalation thing, right? It's what we talked about with the McDonald's lady. It's escalation. Why? Why is the next step up from unarmed man moving towards me to I'm just going to kill him? I don't get it. You're wrong. He's claiming self-defense, but get f***ed. No, you're fucking crazy. June 22nd, Boyfriend of the Year award goes to New Smyrna Beach, 22-year-old Florida man, Robert Steinstra. He had one goal. It was simple: to steal an airplane to go see his girlfriend. How sweet. And he did get close. He got very close. The police responded to a scene where they talked to a man who said that his truck had been stolen by a man wearing a blue backpack. They were at the presumably stolen truck, and he was like, yeah, this is my truck, it was stolen. Dude's got a backpack on, it's blue. He obviously hadn't taken it very far if the owner just walked up and was like, yeah, that's me. While the police officer was investigating this stolen truck scene though, they got a call from the flight instructor at this airfield being like, hey, there's a dude with a blue backpack crouching by the planes. I don't know who he is. Kind of weird. This whole thing's like a goofy ass game of Where's Waldo. It's like Florida Where's Waldo. The police understandably ditched the truck because it was now back in the owner's hands, and we're like, all right, well, let's move in on this scene where this man's crouching near an airplane. And when they got there, he was in the plane, in one of the planes, and he was just sitting in the passenger seat. You see, the man had asked the flight instructor before he sat down the plane, can you please teach me how do I fly an airplane, please? And the police arrived and he was in the airplane, okay? He was in the airplane. And still desperate for a singular drop of knowledge. When the police walked up, the first thing he asked was, please teach me how to fly this airplane. Somebody help him. Awkward silence. The police said nothing, followed by him scuttling out the emergency window and being caught. He was instantly caught, and sadly, he never learned how to fight. Yep. When they asked him about it, he was like, yeah, dude, listen, I bought this airplane. I don't know from who, though. And when they asked him about the 1.1 pounds of weed that he had on him, he was like, hey, I'm a manager for a dispensary. I had to fly this to California, where my girlfriend was, and where I had to take the weed to California. I don't know, man. I don't know. This story just kind of makes me sad because this Florida man obviously had some sort of unbridled, deep need and yearn for knowledge, and he was denied at every turn. June 23rd, Cody Spiegelharter went to jail after his greedy ass 15-month-old daughter ate half of one of his freshly rolled joints. Cody is being charged with child neglect after the greedy baby ate half of his joint. The baby did suffer a few seizures, but is expected and is making a full recovery. Don't leave your joints around, or I'll eat them. Meanwhile, a Florida man exposes himself during a road rage incident. Leesburg, Florida. A Florida man was arrested over the weekend after an alleged road rage incident where he got out of his car and pulled his meat gnome out. James Box. I've never heard of someone with the last name Box. It's cool. It's really, really awesome last name, and it's so good. James Box, 56, was arrested and charged with exposure after he pulled his little meat gnome out, exposed his little dude. You see, the guy monkeyed out. He completely monkeyed out. During a road rage incident, he literally got out of the car and he fully exposed himself while charging at these poor people trapped in their car. The two victims advised they screamed and looked away in fear when the defendant exposed himself, the affidavit said. How deeply mad and disturbed do you have to be to pull your balls and cock out during a an incident on the road? You guys know COD lobbies, right? Like you grew up with COD lobbies. What happens in the COD lobby stays in the COD lobby. That's how it works.
Yeah, I vote for one in the freaking chamber! Oh my god, why would you vote this map again? I will eat your firstborn child! Why are you gonna play with my humiliation? Oh my!
Maybe an IP address or a home address gets leaked here and there in chat, but most of the time it is just big talk. Big, large gamer talk with hollow threats. Not this time. A new Doisy Man is facing attempted murder charges after he flew to Florida and tried to kill a fellow gamer with a fucking hammer following an online dispute. Gamer beef turned real. It turned real and it almost turned into murder. The suspect, Edward Kang, 20 years old, allegedly entered the victim's home with a mask, you know, gloves on, all the normal shit, and he was armed with a hammer. He waited for the gamer. The gamer got up to go to the bathroom, and he attacked him with this hammer, trying to kill him. The sheriff said that the victim, being about the same age as Kang, was able to wrestle him to the ground with the help of his stepdad as well, and get the hammer out of his hand. Nassau, N-A-S-S-A-U, county. I've never heard of that in Florida. No clue where that is. But the sheriff for this county, Bill Leeper, said an unbelievably epic quote. It was a complete mic drop. It's the coolest thing I think anybody has ever said. And I quote, "I would say, Mr. King, it'll be a long time before you play video games again." It goes pretty hard. How diabolical, though, does your COD lobby speak have to be? How much trash do you have to talk? How much vitriol do you have to spew for someone to decide to fly across the country and kill you with a hammer? Like, wow, he said that? He said that? He really said that. I'm gonna kill him with a hammer. Like, actually. I would pay upwards of billions to see the chat log. Seriously. The victim did suffer severe head wounds, obviously. He was attacked with a fucking nailing hammer, but he's expected to make a recovery. I think he's been released as of this point from the hospital, and Kang is being charged with second-degree murder. We don't think he has an attorney at the moment. Leaper said the investigation is ongoing, but they might upgrade his charges. Listen, Kang's charges should 100% be upgraded. Are you kidding me? Second-degree murder means basically heat of the moment and out of like an act of passion. It is basically like you intended, from what I understand. I am also in my garage wearing size 10XL overalls, talking to technology. But from what I understand, second-degree murder means that it was in the heat of a moment or out of an act of like intense passion. Like, it's not like, oh, I've been planning for 10 years to kill my grandma, but like my grandma spilled soup on my lap and now I'm gonna kill her. What's in the moment about any of this? The dude flew across the country to kill somebody who trash talked him in video games. In the heat of the moment, I booked a plane ticket. I packed my bags. I bought a hammer. I flew across the country. I broke in and waited in the victim's house and I tried to kill him with a hammer over the course of what I presume to be, I could be wrong, multiple days. June 26th. Oh, camera overheated again. June 26th. Dennis Wynn, the great protector of Lake County, Florida, is being charged with things and stuff after trying to shoot down a Walmart delivery drone. We always knew that this was gonna happen and it's gonna keep happening. We knew it was gonna happen since the very conception of a drone. There's something primal in old people's brains that make them scared of drones. Oh! See, Dennis was repairing his pool and he recounted previous times when he'd been gang stalked by drones to the police. He thought it was one of them gang stalking drones that I see everywhere. The most impressive part of all this, though, is that Dennis didn't shoot it with a shotgun. He shot it with a 9mm, which is nasty work, Dennis. Nasty work. Okay, this next story is fucking insane, and it takes place in my hometown, where I have lived most of my life. Melbourne, Florida, baby. William J. Banks Jr., 47 years old, called the police at 8:30 a.m. saying, hey, there's a suspicious guy outside my apartment. It was him. I'm Stuff. I'm Stuff. He reported himself, but in third person. He's like, there's someone weird outside, and he was the weird guy outside. When the police arrived, he was already barricaded inside his apartment, and he instantly opened fire on them. Luckily, no police officers were harmed, but the perpetrator was doinked to death. Nobody knows why this happened, but this is the crazy part. When I was researching the story, the first thing that I watched was this actual news report. And in the screenshot, you can see this apartment in the background. I instantly knew what that apartment was because this is where I used to deliver pizza from. This was my Pizza Hut. And then this is where it took place. I used to deliver pizza to this apartment complex all the time. I can literally go into Google Maps right now and zoom in on where this is. And there was a lady in a department right here who would let me have a slice of the pizza whenever I delivered it. And then I saw this. And that church right there, look at this, literally, it's that. It's this place. It's the same goofy ass roof. So this is where it happened. That's the church. And this is the plaza that I used to deliver Pizza Hut pizzas from. So I instantly knew watching the report on this where it was. It's so funny. And our final story for the month takes us to Summerfields, Florida. Michael Patrick Fleming almost pulled off the smallest heist of all time. The smallest heist in history when he almost robbed the bank of 1 penny. He slipped them a withdrawal slip for 1 cent. Real sly like, really slick. When the lady was like, dude, you can't withdraw 1 cent. Sorry. This is what he said. So you want me to say the other word? No clue what the f that means, but she didn't like it either and called the police. Michael was arrested and is now being touted as the bank robber who tried to rob a bank for 1 cent. Legend in my eyes. Probably one of the coolest people that we've ever covered. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was June Florida Man review. I hope that you liked it. If you did, make sure to check out all the other Florida men as well. Stuff equally crazy as this happens every month. Every single month is a fucking nightmare. I want to thank you guys again for supporting this series, and I love you guys with all my heart. You're the reason I'm able to do this, and I'll see you next time for more Florida Man review. I'll see you for July. I'm out.